Well, Saturday afternoon in Starkville, Mississippi is like a festival going on here in the home opening weekend of SEC play in Starkville. Vanderbilt coming in at 2-2 in league play. Mississippi State as well. They opened up the gates and the crowd just flooded on in. We had an overflow crowd last night in Starkville, expecting even bigger today. And we welcome you inside of Duty Noble Field, Vanderbilt Stadium, alongside Charlie Winfield. I'm Bart Gregory. And Charlie, looking back at last night, Mississippi State winning the opener 4-2, just a typical Friday night in the SEC. It's a thin line between winning and losing.
It was. The atmosphere here, though, was unbelievable. This place was packed. Over 14,600 people in the ballpark last night. That was sixth all time at this field. I got a feeling that record's going to get a little bit more challenged even tonight.
Yeah, huge crowd today. And you look back at last night, you start talking about Mississippi State getting out of jams. For Vanderbilt, it was missed opportunities. The Commodores left 9 on base after the 5th inning. Charlie, the 5th and the 6th innings were huge for both of these teams.
Well, they were for Mississippi State. Brian O'Connor talked about it in the postgame show. You can get yourself out of trouble when you make pitches and you trust your defense. The Bulldogs did that, but then here was the thing. Friday night, SEC baseball, one swing can change everything. That's what happened last night. Bulldog shortstop Ryder Woodson driving one out, a no-doubter to center, and that changed everything.
And the Bulldogs took a 4-1 lead at that time. Failed to score the rest of the way, but that was enough. Vanderbilt looking to even this series today. Mississippi State looking to win its 16th straight home game. Bulldogs have not won a home series against Vanderbilt since 2014. And here's the lineup for Tim Corbin. You look at Johnstone and Johnston at the top. Riker Waite down in the 9th spot in the order on a 23-game hitting streak. The thing about Vanderbilt this year, Charlie, is the offense. The offense under Tim Corbin's team has been the staple.
Well, it certainly has. This is a team that can run a ball out of the yard in a hurry, and they've got a guy at the top of the order in Johnstone who knows how to get on base.
And Tomas Valinkas toes the rubber, and we're underway here on a Saturday afternoon. 86 degrees, a wind blowing out, and the sophomore from Lockport, Illinois on the mound. Boy, just a perfect afternoon for baseball. Charlie, Valinkas off to a 4-0 start. His stuff has been good so far.
And his fastball getting even better and carrying through the game. Then last week against Arkansas, going to that slider, getting some big swing and miss action. Staying ahead in counts, and he's done that here to Johnstone to get things started, ahead 1-2.
Co-pitcher of the week in the SEC. Gave up just 2 hits in 7 innings last week in Fayetteville. And the slider sweeps away. Only 2 left-handed hitters in the order for Vanderbilt today. This Commodore team held in check in the late innings yesterday. There's a ground ball up the middle. Mississippi State had shaded that way, had the shift on. That was a second baseman, Garrick Fry, who was playing just to the right of the second base bag. Johnstone grounds out, and that's the way this one starts. 12 strikeouts looking on the season, tied for 3rd in the SEC, 4 wins. Had 7 strikeouts and just 2 walks last week. And on the season, 33 strikeouts and 27 2/3. And here's Brody Johnston.
Well, Brody gets the fastball to start the at-bat. Can't do anything with that.
Held in check last night. Johnston went 0 for 5. Tried to bust him in with a fastball. Johnston batting .371 on the season. Out of his 33 hits, 18 have been extra base hits, 11 doubles, and 7 home runs, the 1-1. Scott Kennedy, the home plate umpire today. Ronnie Teague down at first. Seth Buckminster over at third, and Jeremy Dupree out at second. There's a backdoor slider, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. I don't think you can understate just how perfect of an afternoon this is for college baseball. 2-2. Swing and a miss, and the breaking ball down. And the first strikeout for Tomas Valinkas.
This is a great job by Tomas Valinkas executing a pitch here on a 2-strike count. Johnston, a guy that has murdered left-handed pitching this year, hitting .529 against lefties coming in, but unable to connect. But then you talk about power in the lineup. That is this guy.
Braden Holcomb steps in, 11 home runs on the season. And the wind blowing straight out today at 8 miles an hour.
We start to talk about players developing in their careers, and boy, Braden Holcomb putting it all together so far this season.
Well, 1 for 4 last night, had a big double to left field in the 6th inning. Vandy had the bases loaded in the 5th and again in the 6th. With nobody out in the 5th inning, lined out and then got a double play ball. And then in the 6th inning, had 2nd and 3rd after Holcomb's double. State went to Maddox Webb, struck out a guy, walked a guy, then got a pop out to get out of the inning. And you see the 2 seasons back to back.
Yeah, you see the step forward that he has taken. Already more home runs this year than all of last year.
6'4", 245 junior from Orlando. Swings and misses at the breaking ball down. And Tomas Valinkas picks right up where he left off last week. Scoreless in the middle of the first. Well, we head back to Starkville here in the bottom of the first inning. You see Aiden Teal's got a helmet. He's going to lead off for Mississippi State. Teal, Reese, Sullivan. Charlie, this lineup has been so solid this year, one of the best offensive lineups that State's had in some time. But last night it was Woodson down in the 6th spot in the order, and then Kevin Maluski batting in the 8 hole, who provided the power for the Bulldogs last night. And Mississippi State using the exact same lineup today that they used last night. And here's Wyatt Neto, freshman right-hander from Gorham, Maine.
And one thing about Neto, he can get it up there in a hurry. Got that big right-handed delivery. He's going to throw in a downhill plane. But you see that strikeout to walk ratio. He's got a lot of swing and miss in that right-handed fastball. The thing about the fastball, so many times you see young guys come out, they're going to gas it up early, and then as the innings go, they start to lose a little bit. The last out he recorded in an outstanding outing against LSU last week in the 7th inning was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
And Tim Corbin continues to bring in big pitchers from the Northeast. Wyatt Neto, you talk about last week against LSU. That was only his 2nd start, but he was outstanding in that start. Went 7 innings. He gave up 3 runs on 4 hits in the 7 innings. He struck out 10. And he walked just 2. He threw 104 pitches, 63 strikes. And the first pitch to Aiden Teal is outside ball 1. Aiden Teal went 1 for 4 last night, had a single in his 3rd at bat. Struck out a couple of times. You see that fastball at 98. Teal batting .346 on the season. Had a slow start at the plate. Had an illness in the 3rd week of the season. He was out for about a week and a half. You see that cutter. It's that fastball cutter combination with Neto that is elite.
It's got a changeup. He'll use it occasionally against left-handed hitters.
Shift is on against Aiden Teal, the 1-2. They talk about Aiden Teal, first 8 games off to just a 200 start, but in the last 8 games he's kind of putting it together. Not only back in the lineup, but leading off. He takes a breaking ball outside, and the count now 2-2. Gorham, Maine, big right-hander. It's just west of Portland. Pitch down and away, and now the count 3-2. High with a pitch, trying to throw the cutter at the top of the zone. Aiden Teal draws a walk, and Mississippi State gets the leadoff man aboard in the bottom of the first.
Well, you see Neto there trying to do something a little different than the book that you would normally see. So far this year, he's gone fastball a lot in 3-2 counts, and of course, that's part of baseball. You know that there's a scouting report on you just as much as you have a scouting report on the other team. Tried to change it up that time.
State will have 5 left-handed hitters in the order against Neto. This time he finds the outside corner. Here's Ace Reese, had a slow start to his weekend. He went 0 for 4 last night, struck out a couple of times. Was hit with a pitch clock violation in his second strikeout, the 0-1.
And was a little bit aggrieved about that. Some discussion here at the ballpark.
Had a fly out and a ground ball back to the pitcher in last night's game. He fouls it back. Ace Reese has had a great start to his season. Started out red hot. He's cooled off of late. He's batting .353. 17 of his 30 hits have been extra base hits, 11 doubles, 6 home runs. Tied for first in the SEC with those 11 doubles.
You see the throw over to first base. Teal, running at first, does have 4 stolen bases, but he's been caught stealing 3 times.
Here's a 1-2. Fouled it back. Vanderbilt used just 2 pitchers last night. Mississippi State had to use 4. Breaking ball foul back. Of course, the big story of the night last night for Mississippi State pitching-wise was Ryan McPherson throwing 4 innings and then coming out to warm up for the top of the 5th inning. Had to come out of the game. Brian O'Connor said after the game last night he had some tightness, didn't feel right. They brought him out of the game. And, of course, they're in the evaluating process now on where Ryan McPherson is with that right arm. So as you can imagine, no news to report right now. 1-2. The pitch is high and outside.
Yeah, nice job laying off the pitch. Seen a couple of breaking pitches, then get the fastball up.
Two and two the count. Teal at first, leadoff walk. And there's strike 3 called, and Ace Reese knew it.
Yeah, just locked him up. Thought Neto would go back to the breaking pitch, maybe go slider there, but then gets the fastball and just can't pull the trigger.
And a first strikeout for Neto, and here's Noah Sullivan. State with a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the first inning after Tomas Valinkas retired. Vanderbilt in order in the top of the first. A ground out and a couple strikeouts. Noah Sullivan had a couple hits in the game last night. He was 2 for 3. Had a single in his first at bat and again in his last at bat. Had a walk and scored in that 3-run third inning. Comes in batting .350 on the season. 5 home runs, 20 RBIs.
Teal doesn't have the biggest of leads, but he keeps getting the throw over.
Ball hit well into right center field in the gap, and it's going to be off and over the wall, off the artificial turf in the warning track, and hops over the wall. And runners will be at second and third on the double by Noah Sullivan.
Sullivan, as State fans have seen him do, willing to go the other way. Gets one into the gap in right center field. And you see it just hits off that turf. Holcomb gave it a bid, but just couldn't get to it.
Aiden Teal had a good jump off of first base, and if that ball doesn't hop over the wall, has a chance to score. That cost State a game early this year against UCLA. And Reed Stallman comes to the plate. Kind of ground rule double that would have no doubt scored the winning run against UCLA, and then the Bruins able to win it in extras. Here's Stallman. And now the count 0-2. Reed Stallman batting .365 on the season. 1 for 4 last night. And so a ground rule double by Noah Sullivan. And State in business here in the bottom of the first.
We see Stallman taking time, just stepping out of the box, trying to gather himself after 2 quick strikes.
And the 0-2. And a big strikeout for Wyatt Neto, as he gets Ace Reese and now Reed Stallman, and 2 outs for Garrick Fry.
Two different called third strikes, 2 different pitches. It was a fastball to Reese. It's off speed there.
And it leaves it up to Garrick Fry for State here in the first. Waves through it. Teal, the runner at third, drew a leadoff walk. He was behind 1-2. And then Neto would end up walking him on 3 straight balls. 1-1. That ball lined to the left field. Here's Mancini. He'll make the catch, and Vanderbilt able to get out of it. Scoreless after 1. Well, you start thinking about the coaching profession last year. You had Tony Vitello, Chris Lemonis, Brian O'Connor at Virginia, Chris Pollard at Duke. And you start thinking about what it looks like now. Josh Elander, Brian O'Connor, Chris Pollard moving from Duke to Virginia, Corey Mascara, now the head coach at Duke, and Brian O'Connor, 22 years as a head coach at Virginia, 18 NCAA tournament appearances, and won a national championship in 2015. Tomas Valinka's back out. Colin Barzy leading things off. And Charlie, when you start thinking back to the time when Brian O'Connor was named the head coach, the night that State finished up its 2025 season, and the excitement that it injected into this Mississippi State fan base, and you could kind of tell at that time. Then you had the fall game where you had the reunion, over 10,000 back at an alumni baseball game, and you could kind of feel that the opening home weekend of SEC baseball, they'd be busting at the seams here in Starkville, and man, have we seen some massive crowds here this weekend.
Yeah, 14,649 a night ago, and obviously haven't been doing the math counting people here, but just looking around, it looks every bit as full as it was a night ago.
Line first base side, Barzy 2-ball, 2-strike count. Limited action this season, injured. Only his 7th game.
Yeah, finally back from a shoulder injury, but in the limited time he had played before the injury, he had been outstanding. Had 3 home runs in a game at Globe Life Field against TCU. That was on opening day.
And there's strike 3 called on the outside corner. And both pitchers dealing here early. That's the 3rd strikeout for Tomas Valinkas.
Well, Valinkas just painting the black. .96 on the edge.
And here's Chris Maldonado, Commodore first baseman. Batting .322 on the season. Takes a pitch at the knees for a strike. 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. We talk about Vanderbilt, 2nd in the SEC in home runs with 52. And it was the Mississippi State long ball last night. 2 home runs, a solo shot by Kevin Maluski, and then a 3-run home run by Ryder Woodson. And as we said, the wind blowing out in a hot afternoon. This is a hitter's ballpark today. And the 1-2.
Was looking for the chase there, but nice job by Maldonado holding off.
Down the right field line, and that ball is fouled just by a half step. Jacob Parker, Bulldog right fielder, over to pick it up.
You can see there is not much foul room down that right field line. Not much at all.
Valinkas threw 14 pitches in the first inning. And the 2-2. That ball hit well into left field, but it's going to stay in the park. And Bryce Chance is there to make the catch. And now 2 outs in the inning. Maldonado hit it off the end of the bat. It dies when it gets to the outfield.
Off the bat, that ball had a big sound, but didn't get any carry as it made it to the outfield. Chance able to get over, make the catch. And now 2 down.
And here's Mike Mancini. Batting in the 6th hole today. Mancini hit the 5 spot last night. Walked a couple of times, was 0 for 2. Started his career at James Madison. 5 home runs, batting .323, and it hits him on the arm. And Mancini hit by the pitch with 2 outs, and the first base runner of the afternoon for Vanderbilt. Take another look. Nicked it right there at the elbow. And Mancini, one of the few guys you see in baseball now that doesn't wear any kind of protection on that front elbow. And you see it all the way from the major leagues down to the coach pitch 6U in today's world.
Mancini very dangerous once he gets on the base paths. He has 5 stolen base, hasn't been caught stealing this season. A year ago was 18 of 20.
Here's Rustin Rigdon. Turning around and batting from the right side. Rigdon was the leadoff man last night against the Bulldog right-hander Ryan McPherson. Switch hitter turned around and batting from the right side against the lefty Valinkas today. Mancini was picked off of first last night. And there you see the Vanderbilt offense over the last 2 years and what they have done with a long ball this year compared to last. Yeah, Mancini last night drew a walk in the second inning, and then McPherson able to pick him off of first.
Well, the thing he can do to a pitcher is really get in your head. You know he can run. You know he's over there. Sometimes that can help the hitter at the plate as the pitcher loses focus.
And just off the outside corner, now the count 2-1. So 2 out hit batsmen, now the count 2 balls and a strike to Rigdon. And the quick throw over.
Well, you can see Mancini trying to get a measure of Valinkas, trying to decide how much lead he can bite off.
And able to backdoor the slider in there, and now the count's even. Scoreless game at the top of the second. Bulldogs got a ground rule double with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning by Noah Sullivan, but Vanderbilt right-hander Wyatt Neto got a strikeout and a flyout to get out of the inning. State stranded a pair, the 2-2. And line foul down by the Vanderbilt bullpen. Keep the football in hand. Fouled it off his foot. Well, Valinkas had the quick first inning, but Vanderbilt making him throw some pitches here in the second. He got a strikeout of Barzy to start the inning, got Maldonado to fly out the left. But he hits Mancini, who's over at first. And a good at bat going now by Rustin Rigdon.
Well, Rigdon is doing a great job just spoiling breaking pitches.
Two again. Came inside with a fastball, hit it on the handle. Out to the second baseman, Garrick Fry, and that will end the inning. So Thomas Valinkas strands the 2 out hit batsman. Scoreless as we go to the bottom of the second. Now Tim Corbin, 24th year at Vanderbilt. They're jotting some notes down. And what a job he has done at building Vanderbilt into that national power. 24 seasons as head coach. Won national championships in 2014, again in 2019. Been to the College World Series 5 times.
And Tim Corbin, like Mississippi State, looking to get back to the World Series for the first time since 21.
Of course, Vanderbilt, the team that Mississippi State knocked off in that championship, the finals. After Vandy won the first game, State won the second, and then the third.
Think about the big-time pitching that was on display that weekend.
You think about Leiter, you think about Rocker, Mississippi State. Had Will Bednar able to go in that game 3. The unsung was Preston Johnson out of the bullpen in game 2 of that College World Series final.
He and Houston Harding in that game.
Saved a lot of bullpen, allowed Landon Sims to come in and finish it up for State.
We have an equipment malfunction.
And the catcher, Corbin Reynolds, had to get everything plugged in. But 5 years ago, since these teams have been back at Charles Schwab Field. And first base umpire Ronnie Teague says that Malewski does go around, or excuse me, Woodson goes around. And now the count 2-2. So Woodson, Parker, and then Malewski. 6, 7, and 8 in the Bulldog order here in the second. And now the count 3-2. Neto, if there was a negative to the way he pitched in the first inning, he walked a guy, gave up a double, but he had to throw 22 pitches in that bottom of the first inning. But able to get out of that jam, had second and third and 1 out, and got a strikeout and a flyout to get out of the inning, and a leadoff walk doled out to Ryder Woodson here in the second. Vanderbilt's been to the NCAA tournament 19 consecutive times. 7th most wins by active head coaches. Here's a Bulldog freshman right fielder, Jacob Parker. Parker making his 9th start of the season. Hitting .351. 3 home runs. Tremendous freshman talent, a lot of raw power.
What do you think this crowd's into this game? Every pitch is getting a reaction.
And now Neto falling behind 2-1.
Woodson at first base does not have a stolen base this season.
And now 3-1. So a leadoff walk to Ryder Woodson. And now 3-1 to Jacob Parker. And high ball 4, and the third walk issued by Wyatt Neto. He walked 4 in his first start against North Dakota State a couple of weeks ago. Walked just 2 last week in the 7 innings against LSU. And now he faces Kevin Malewski, who last night in the 2nd inning got all of one to left field, a solo home run.
Well, Malewski's got a little swing and missing, and he's got a little bit of that too. We have seen him be able to put a charge into a baseball.
And that was his 2nd home run of the season last night. He's only making his 6th start of the season. Injuries mounted up on him early in the season.
Maldonado on the grass at first base looking for a bunt.
And he bunted through it. So he threw in the cutter. And Maluski down in the 8th spot in the order. You got Bryce Chance due up next. Squaring again, and this time took the bat back. When you look at this Mississippi State batting lineup, and you look 1 through 8, the guy with the best average is in the on-deck circle, the 9-hole hitter, Bryce Chance. 1-1. Took it down again, and now the count 2-1.
Well, Maluski's done a good job on back-to-back pitches of pulling back the bunt attempt, not chasing something down. Now the count's gone 2-1. Let's see if instead of bunting, Maluski looks for something to hit.
Squaring again. Oh, and just outside, and now it's 3-1. Well, he went 3-2 to Woodson and walked him. He went 3-1 to Jacob Parker and walked him as well. First and second, nobody out. And now we're going to have a walk to the mound. There's Scott Brown. Scott Brown, the pitching coach at Vandy, going out to have a word with his big freshman right-hander. You look at this Vanderbilt pitching staff, riddled with some injuries here early in the season, and this Vanderbilt team and this program under Tim Corbin has been built on pitching. One of those things you kind of look for them to get it turned around, but right now last in the league in WHIP, last in ERA, and toward the bottom of the league in walks and opponent batting average.
And you start to peel away those numbers, though. The guy on the mound, Neto, has been really good. ERA now under 1.5. Big spot here early in the game. Do the Dogs turn Maluski loose?
Kept the bunt on, third base line. What a bunt by the catcher. And everybody safe. Well, Kevin Maluski, you know, over his career has not been asked to bunt a whole lot. That, all the way from coach pitch to now, and he couldn't have rolled that one out there any better underhanded.
We'd have to go deep in the books to find a bunt single by Kevin Maluski. But that was put in the most difficult of places. No way to make a play, and now the Bulldogs with the 9-hole hitter Bryce Chance. Hitting .426 on the season. He's got the bases loaded.
So bases loaded, nobody out. Bryce Chance went 1 for 3 last night. And as you see that .426 batting average this season. The first pitch grounded foul outside the bag at third.
Well, you look at Maldonado at first, Johnston at third. Both of them playing in near the grass. A ball hit straight back to them may try to cut down the lead runner at the plate. Anything to the middle, Vanderbilt would look for the double play and seed the run.
They popped him up on the infield, and that's what Neto was looking for. Shortstop back, Riker Waite will make the play in shallow center field. Chance pops out, and the first out of the second inning, and Aiden Teal will come to the plate.
Good job of executing a pitch here. Gets a fastball up in the zone. Chance can't get on top of it. And it's a pop-up, and now the double play to get Neto out of it. Of course, a tough guy to double up at the plate, and Aiden Teal, the Bulldog leadoff hitter.
Drew a walk his first time up. Back-to-back walks and a bunt single to start the inning, but Wyatt Neto getting the pop out from Bryce Chance for the first out. He was able to get out of second and third with 1 out back in the first inning. Swings through the fastball. Ground ball. Diving play by the second baseman. That keeps the second run from scoring. Woodson crosses the plate with the first run of the game for Mississippi State, but Rustin Rigdon, keeping the ball on the infield, holds Jacob Parker over to third. The bases remain loaded on the infield single by Aiden Teal.
Well, it's a nice job by Rigdon cutting this ball off before it gets into right field. If he doesn't make that play, another run scores. Didn't have anybody to throw it to, but keeps it on the infield. Bases remain loaded, though, for Ace Reese.
And the ball ripped into right field, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs score. They'll stop the runner Teal at third. It's a 2-run double by Ace Reese, and State has a 3-0 lead.
All right, this is a really good swing of the bat by Ace Reese. He is hunting fastball here, and he gets the fastball. And he just powers it into the right field corner. Got the pitch low and inside and just turns it around.
And the 2 walks to start the inning come back to haunt Wyatt Neto. State's put a 3 spot on the board, and now second and third, and still just 1 out. And here's Noah Sullivan. Hit a ground rule double his first time up, hit a ball to the right center field gap that hit the warning track. That's artificial turf, and it caromed over the wall.
And of course, the playing surface is all grass, some of the best grass in the country. But the warning track around the edges, around the outfield, is turf.
And now Neto quickly ahead 0-2 to Noah Sullivan, the 3-hole hitter for Mississippi State. Well, left a pitch up at 95, and Sullivan able to get just a piece of it. Well, tried to elevate that 0-2 fastball, probably got it a little bit lower than he wanted.
They allowed Sullivan to get a piece of it. Rigdon, the second baseman, in on the grass, as is Maldonado at first. Anything to the right side. Vanderbilt will look to hold the runner at third or maybe make a play at the plate. Playing back at shortstop with Wade.
Commodores get a right-hander up, tossing down in the bullpen. Freshman right-hander Neto in trouble here in the second. That's Jacob Faulkner. Inside, and it hits Noah Sullivan, and the bases are loaded. Got ahead at 1-2, and he hits Sullivan. And Reed Stallman will bat. Then you got Stallman looking his first time up. And now the bases loaded with 1 out. 3 runs home in the second. And a ball hit well, straight away center field. Going to stay in the ballpark as Holcomb will bring it in on the track. It's deep enough to score the run. Teal. A sacrifice fly by Reed Stallman. And Mississippi State has a 4-0 lead.
Stallman hit this ball well. It was 102 off the bat. It carried 380 feet, but the park holds it. The out is recorded, but a run comes home.
And now Garrick Fry will bat. Ace Reese State put at second base. Sullivan still over at first. And Charlie, you just look at this second inning, and the trouble for Wyatt Neto has been it's been a lot of 1-0 counts and 2-0 counts,
which is not typical for him. He tends to pitch ahead, and when he gets down 2-0, you can almost count on him going to the fastball. He goes to it there. And when you got a fastball like that, why not go with it?
Yeah, Garrick Fry, the 9th man to bat in the inning, had a fly out to left field to end the first. And now 3-1. Ryder Woodson on deck, drew a leadoff walk here in the second inning.
And this becomes more of a fastball count as well.
Well, high and tight with a fastball, and now the bases are loaded. Third walk of the inning. You got a hit batsman, a bunt single, an infield single. The only ball or two balls that left the infield, and that was the double by Ace Reese and the sac fly by Stallman. And Ryder Woodson will come to the plate.
Got the first pitch breaking ball, but was going to be letting that one spin all the way.
It runs a fastball away that time, and now the count 1-1. Woodson's home run last night is 3rd of the season. Oh, he drops a dandy in there that time. That wasn't the cutter. That was just straight filth on that 1-1.
Yes, it was.
Well, the thing that does, Charlie, is showing you that third pitch. It puts something else in the back of your mind with 2 strikes.
Now, that's one thing about being ahead in the count. Neto doesn't have to be predictable. He can go to whatever pitch he feels comfortable with here.
Breaking ball lined right at the third baseman, Brody Johnston, and that will end the inning. Well, Woodson hit it right on the screws. The Bulldogs get the bunt single by Maluski, the infield single by Teal, the 2-run double by Ace Reese, and it's 4-0 after 2. Well, huge crowd here on a Saturday night. Start looking at attendance records.
There's one thing in common, a common denominator.
All here in Starkville. And last night, 6th all time. Ton of people standing around the concourse. And first pitch fouled off. Corbin Reynolds going to lead things off here in the 3rd inning against Tomas Valinkas. And now Valinkas will pitch with a 4-run lead. Reynolds batting .292 on the season. He's got a couple of home runs and 4 doubles. A little unsure with that swing, and the count now 0-2. Yeah, worked it away. Reynolds strikes out. 4th strikeout for Tomas Valinkas.
And this is a great 0-2 pitch. Just brings it back, gets the chase.
And here's Riker Waite, Vandy shortstop.
Talked about Mississippi State having one of their better hitters in the 9 spot. Same can be said for Vandy. Waite hitting .324 at the bottom of the order.
And now 1-2. Well, that slider leaks down and in. And so far, that's been the kill pitch for Tomas Valinkas to right-handed hitters. It's been that slider down and in, and he's got multiple Commodores to swing on.
We saw him use it with success against Arkansas last week. A good job using the fastball to get ahead and then wiping out hitters.
And now Logan Johnstone at the plate. He grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. And now 0-2.
And as they did in the first inning with 2 strikes on Johnstone, the Bulldogs will put the shift on defensively, send Ace Reese out into shallow right field.
Oh, 2. There's strike 3 called on the outside corner. Got the fastball at 98. And Tomas Valinkas strikes out the side in the top of the 3rd. State keeps his 4-0 lead. Well, Mississippi State had a 4-run bottom of the 2nd inning. Got 4 runs on 3 hits. 4-0 lead. You take a look at the SEC standings coming into today. Auburn had a walk-off win last night.
How about that walk-off, by the way? Hit a ball into center field, misplayed in center by Texas. Auburn walked it off. And that's the difference in Texas being 3-1 and tied with Auburn and being 2 games back entering today.
Here's Jacob Parker, Bulldog freshman. Walk back in the 2nd inning. And rips that ball into right field. A solid single for Jacob Parker.
One of the things we are starting to see about Jacob Parker young in his career is he is going to hit the ball hard. He hits this ball 112 to right field.
And a leadoff single for Mississippi State in the 3rd.
The ball just comes off his bat different. Speaking of coming off the bat different, this is a guy who hammered out a bunt single last time up.
Bulldog catcher Kevin Maluski worked the count to 3-1. The State kept the bunt sign on. And he deadened the ball, 3rd base side, and laid it down perfectly, and that loaded the bases with nobody out. The Bulldogs went on to score 4 in that 2nd. Got it in on the hands that time. Now the count 0-2.
We could grab 5 buckets of balls and set up the pitching machine. Sit out here all weekend, and he couldn't lay down a bunt like that again.
Ground ball could be two. To second for one, the flip over to first, and that is tailor-made 4-6-3. Rigdon to Waite to Maldonado. And the leadoff single is erased and 2 quick outs here in the third.
Oh, you see the ground ball right to Rigdon, makes the good flip, and then Waite relays it over to first in a hurry.
So now Bryce Chance will bat with nobody on and 2 outs. He popped out to the shortstop with the bases loaded, nobody out, back in the second. In there for a strike and a count 1-1. Vanderbilt leading the league in double plays this season. Have a double play in 20 of the 24 games now this year. Rigdon and Waite have been very good in the middle of that infield, turning the double plays, and now the count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And the thing that double play does is it gives Neto a chance to have a quick inning and not do any further damage to the pitch count.
Line drive center field. Hung a breaking ball, a cutter, slider, left it over the plate. Bryce Chance with a solid single. And it keeps the inning alive for the top of the Bulldog order, Aiden Teal.
That becomes the really valuable thing about Bryce Chance being in the 9 spot. How many times this season have State fans seen him get a hit with 2 outs and allow things to turn over to the top of the order and give Teal and Reese a chance to swing it with the guy aboard?
And a ground ball right at the second baseman. Rigdon bobbles it, now throws it in time for the out. Playing a couple steps on that outfield grass makes it look easy. And that'll do it for the third. Still 4-0 Mississippi State. Well, we got the 4th inning here in Starkville, a 4-0 Mississippi State lead over Vanderbilt. You start thinking about the RPIs here early in the season. Things are a little bit skewed right now when you start thinking about all the non-conference schedules. Everything is kind of coming to its own in the next few weeks. You see Auburn at number 2, Mississippi State down at 15 in the RPI right now, Vanderbilt at 202. But once you get into about 5 weeks of SEC play, Charlie, and
that
Vanderbilt
will change.
Yeah, that'll change dramatically. Brody Johnston going to lead things off. He struck out swinging his first time up. The first of 5 strikeouts for the left-hander Tomas Valinkas. Pitched last year at Virginia. Came to Starkville with head coach Brian O'Connor. And Charlie, here's the thing about Johnston, the guy to play. And you alluded to it early on. The way he hits left-handed pitchers.
Mashes left-handed pitchers.
And Tomas Valinkas trying to stay away from him right now. And quickly 3-0 here to start the 4th inning. Johnston, a much better eye this year. He's cut down on the strikeouts.
That number in the graphic you just saw, that is dramatic.
Only 10 walks all of last season and 68 strikeouts. Chops out, went out to the left side and booted by Ryder Woodson. Ball came up on him, hit him in the heel of the glove. That's kind of one of those in-between plays for the Bulldogs shortstop. And Johnston going to reach on the leadoff error.
I see Woodson trying to come get it and just saw it get to the back of his glove, as you said, hit in the heel, bounce away.
Here's Braden Holcomb, Vanderbilt center fielder. He struck out swinging his first time up. Leadoff man aboard for the Commodores here in the 4th inning. Only the second base runner today against Valencas. They got a 2-out hit batsman to Mancini back in the 2nd. And that one past Maluski, and that back to the screen, and that will be a pass ball, presumably. Charlie, the thing about pitching, and you and I have talked about this a lot of times, is about sometimes you have feel for certain pitches. And sometimes that middle finger when you're trying to cut through a pitch on a slider, it just feels good and different that night. That pitch had some voodoo to it. Maluski trying to catch it down and in. Swing and a miss, and he's got it working right now.
Well, he absolutely does, because Holcomb, an outstanding hitter, and just absolutely fooled on a couple.
Some nights it just feels right coming out of the hand, and right now it does for Valencas. Here's Colin Barzy. He struck out looking his first time up. Went around Maluski. That time it didn't get far enough by.
I'll say he's got enough voodoo on it to fool some hitters, fooling his catcher right now as well. Barzy, a really good hitter who's been limited by injuries.
And that was slipped out of his hand. Now the count 1-1.
It says a lot about what Tim Corbin thinks about him to be out for an extended period of time, show up to play this weekend, and be batting in the cleanup spot. As we talked about, had those 3 home runs on opening day against TCU in an MLB arena.
Runner at second, the 1-2. Ground ball headed to right field. That's a solid base hit by Barzy. They'll stop the runner at third as Parker, with a good arm out in right field, gets it back in a hurry. And now Vanderbilt, the Commodores have runners at the corners and 1 out as Colin Barzy goes the other way.
Well, you can see a lot good here. First of all, it's a nice job going the other way behind in the count. That's a 1-2 pitch. Just pushes it through to right field. But then Parker charging the ball hard in right field, getting it back to the cutoff man in the middle. Holds the backside runner and Barzy at first. Holds the runner Johnston at third.
And now Chris Maldonado will be the batter. That's the first hit for Vanderbilt. Batting here in the top of the 4th inning. Fouled a pitch right back. Maldonado had a fly out the left field his first time up. Start thinking about pitch count. 60 pitches right now in the 4th. You like to average around 15 per inning. And so unless Valencas can get a double play ball, he would run past that average here in the 4th.
Yeah, Belinkus really going away from the fastball. We saw a couple in that earlier in the sequence, but 8 of the last 10 pitches have been breaking balls.
Toss over to first. Barzy without a stolen base. Vanderbilt with runners at the corners. And now suddenly Belinkus is falling behind.
Yeah, how fast things turn. Belinkus, who was absolutely dealing, now struggling to find the strike zone.
And off the plate. And that's ball 4, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
And that's going to get Justin Parker out of the dugout. He's going to head out to have a conversation on the mound. Bulldog pitching coach, Justin Parker.
Well, Charlie, the thing you have to think of as you start thinking about Justin Parker and how you attack this game, this is very important for him from a standpoint of you need Tomas Belinkus to go deep in this game after what happened last night with Ryan McPherson leaving after throwing just 4 innings. Bulldogs had to go to the bullpen, used Jack Gleason last night, used Maddox Webb last night, then had to use Ben Davis for 2 2/3. Gleason threw 38 pitches in an inning and a third. Maddox Webb threw 30 pitches in 1 inning. And then Ben Davis had to close it out. His 3rd save of the season went 2 2/3. And Mike Mancini, the batter, he was hit by a pitch his first time up.
And Mancini hitting in a very big spot.
And lifts that ball out into left field. Bryce Chance will make the catch. Runner will tag from third and come in to score. And Vanderbilt is on the board here in the 4th inning on a sacrifice fly by Mike Mancini to make it a 4-1 Mississippi State lead.
Situation there, Mancini does his job, but if you're Mississippi State, you trade that run for an out.
And now Rustin Rigdon will be the batter. He popped out, hit a ball off the handle out to the second baseman Garrick Fry behind the second base bag to end the 2nd inning. Leadoff error comes back to bite Mississippi State as Johnston reached on the fielding error.
Well, there's the fastball, holds the bottom of the zone.
Hard hit ball and into left center field, and that's a solid base hit. They'll wave the runner around third base, and Barzy will come in to score. And it's an RBI single by Rustin Rigdon. And Vanderbilt has cut the Bulldog 4-run lead in half here in the top of the 4th.
Rigdon gets a pitch down the middle, then hits it hard.
Barzy trying to play dodgeball out there between 2nd and 3rd.
That ball hit hard, got on him in a hurry too.
He almost dipped and dodged right in the way of it. And here's Corbin Reynolds. He struck out swinging to start the 3rd inning. 2nd hit of the inning for Vanderbilt. An error in the walk in there. You got runners at the corners now with 2 outs. Chop right back at Valinkas, and the underhand toss within the inning. So 2 runs home in the inning on a couple of singles. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Ace Reese will lead off for Mississippi State. Yeah, 4-2 Mississippi State lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Bulldogs have played so much better here at home, as you can imagine. 14-0, got the big crowd behind them each and every game. 11 runs a game. The opponents held to under 3 a game. On the road, the Bulldogs have only played 4 games on the road this year. The 3 in Fayetteville last week, a trip to Southern Miss, who was a top 10 team at the time. In neutral site, State went 2-1 over in Arlington in the 3rd weekend of the year. Won a game against Tulane down in Biloxi a couple weeks ago. But when SEC play comes around, the competition ratchets up here at the home diamond. Ace Reese leading off. Meat of the Bulldog order here in the bottom of the 4th. Ace Reese, Noah Sullivan, then Reed Stallman. Big swing, and now they count 1-2. Wyatt Neto back out to work. He had thrown 71 pitches through 3 innings. 1-2. And he carves up Ace Reese to start the 4th.
Now, it's a nicely executed fastball up and away from Reese. Gets the strikeout to get things going. Gets ahead in the count. Doesn't worry about the breaking stuff.
And the first time today that Neto has got the leadoff man on. State had back-to-back walks in the 1st and 2nd. They had Teal walked in the 1st, Woodson walked in the 2nd, and then in the 3rd, a single by Jacob Parker to get everything started. Mississippi State scored all 4 of its runs at the bottom of the 2nd inning. A couple of walks, a big 2-run double by Ace Reese. Chopped that one off the foot, and the count even to Noah Sullivan. He doubled his first time up. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning.
And a bit unlucky with that double. It was a ball that bounced out. If it doesn't, Bulldogs would have played it a run. Teal was running in front of him and would have scored from first.
And gets under that one down the left field line. It is hooking. And it is a fair ball. That ball was hit a mile high, and it took forever to come down. And finally, the third base umpire, Seth Buckminster, says that ball is gone.
This ball gets up in the air, and it's a time of day at the ballpark where you lose sight of the ball in the air, particularly when it gets above the lights. This one goes 328 feet and leaves the yard.
Just down the line and gone.
I don't think the guy that it hit even saw it coming.
A solo home run for Noah Sullivan, his 6th home run of the season.
We put that home run call on the highlight film.
A hard hit ball up the middle, backhand play by Rigdon. Boy, nice play.
Oh, very nice play by Rigdon. He had to go up the middle, go to the backhand, and then make a good throw. I'll be honest with you, I don't know that anybody saw the ball out there.
I had no idea where it was at. I had no idea where it was
They didn't either until it landed right there in the middle of them.
Here's Garrick Fry with 2 outs. Take a look at the reactions right here. Noah Sullivan says, hey, is that really gone? Neto was like, did that ball leave here? 5-2 Mississippi State lead, the 1-1. Oh, ran that pitch away. It was such a high fly ball, it just got out over the lights. Well, ran it away, and he strikes out Garrick Fry. And Wyatt Neto gets through the bottom of the 4th inning. But the Bulldogs add to the lead on the solo home run by Noah Sullivan. And it's 5-2 after 4.
Valinkus, I believe is how you say it. I don't know.
Valinkus, they're my roommates.
Well, I know this is a running joke around here. I pronounce it Valencius, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I know there's a couple different pronunciations of it.
Well, the whole key for us is what do you want us to say? And Tomas Valinkus, but then you've got Tito Valencius, and that's they say, hey, we want to do it separately. So that's what we do. Tomato, either. We do what the guys ask us to do. Valencius. There's Vito. Tico out on the mound. Down the right field line, Parker ranging over, and Jacob there to make the play. Well, here's how they say it.
I'm from Lockport, Illinois. I'm Vitas Valencius, and I'm from Lockport, Illinois.
How do your parents state your last name?
They say Valencius. It's like the proper way to say it. They say Valencius.
Who pronounces it correctly?
I would say my parents, because they're the ones. I mean.
And breaking ball strike. Logan Johnstone, the batter. After Wade flies out to right field to start the 5th inning, Logan Johnstone. And so Tomas is a little bit further off than Vitas. He says Valencius. The parents say Valencius. Let me tell you this. All Mississippi State fans and Brian O'Connor and everybody involved says, you know what, if you pour 94 across the outside corner with a fastball and throw the slider, we'll call you whatever you want to be called. 1-2.
Now that is a really good 1-2 pitch right there. Runs it away from the hitters, got sink, running just out of the zone. Boy, that's tough. It looks like a strike, and then you can't hit it.
And now 2 quick outs in the 5th inning. Fly out and a strikeout. That's 8 strikeouts tonight for the left-hander. And here's Brody Johnston. Reached on an error to start the 4th inning, later scored in the inning. Hit a ground ball out to the Bulldogs shortstop, Ryder Woodson. Got caught on an in-between hop. Came up, rode up on him, and got him in the heel of the glove. Reached first, later scored in the inning. Sacrifice fly by Mancini. 5-2 Mississippi State lead after the Bulldogs beat the Commodores last night in game 1, 4-2 here in Starkville. 0-2. Swing and a miss. And Tomas Valinkus settles in. A quick 5th. Still 5-2 Bulldogs.
Sports fans, the ESPN app has all of ESPN all in one place. Visit activate.espn.com to see if you have ESPN Unlimited as part of your TV package for no additional cost. It's all of ESPN all in one place. Sign up or activate now.
Again, the real season started last week, and you start looking at how the season has ended. Last 6 national champions. Teams in the finals, last 3 Golden Spikes Award winners, top league in the country. And now just getting started here on the home opening weekend for Mississippi State. Bulldogs and Commodores here on a Saturday night in Starkville. Well, it doesn't get any better for a baseball fan. And then the first pitch to Ryder Woodson, down and in, ball one. Bottom of the fifth, a 5-2 Mississippi State lead. An overflow crowd here in Starkville. I'm Bart, and he's Charlie, and we've had huge crowds this weekend in the first SEC games of the Brian O'Connor era.
And if the city of Starkville tried to design a weather weekend, even with months of planning, they couldn't have outdone this one.
High and tight with the fastball, and the count 2-1.
Great weather, great crowds, and two really good baseball teams.
It's hard to believe it snowed here on Monday. Got away arm side again, and now the count 3-1. The weather in the South this time of year is so unpredictable. But we've got a beauty of a weekend this weekend. 3-1. And he misses high and tight, and that's ball four. And a leadoff walk for Ryder Woodson, who led off the second inning with a walk and later scored. And that's 4 out of 5 innings that Mississippi State has gotten the leadoff man aboard.
So Jacob Parker will hit, the Bulldog right fielder. Walked in the second and scored. That thing's going in the third with a single.
Vanderbilt had Faulkner warming up down in the bullpen as early as the second inning. You see Tim Corbin as a right-hander, Wyatt Neto. Neto at 89 pitches now. And now Guth is up.
And it may be pitching change time.
Tim Corbin going to come out, and Wyatt Neto, his evening is going to be over. 4+ innings, the runner at first will be his responsibility. A leadoff walk here in the fifth. And the Commodores will go to the bullpen. So we'll step away, Mississippi State, with a 5-2 lead here at the bottom of the fifth. Well, Vanderbilt to the bullpen. And Luke Guth will come in, the junior from Franklin, Pennsylvania. Charlie, what you got on the 6'1" right-hander?
Well, he became a very valuable piece in the bullpen for Vanderbilt a year ago. In 18 of his 19 appearances, he did not allow an earned run. 10th time he has been called to the mound this season for the Commodores. See the ERA at 3.25. Better than a strikeout an inning. The walk's a tick high for him. But he is a guy who is capable of keeping things in check for a while.
You know, the thing about Luke is his last time out was in Game 3 of the series against LSU. And he had just pitched 2 innings in Game 1 on Friday. He went 2 innings in the first game against LSU. That was a game that Vanderbilt came back and won 13-12. He went 2 innings that night, no runs, 1 hit, and was really solid in relief. And then he had to come back 2 days later after throwing 43 pitches. And that's, you see, the ERA kind of gets out of whack there because he gave up 3 runs on 3 hits in 2/3 of an inning. And that was a game that LSU won on Sunday, 16-9.
If you look back even to last season and this season, he's made appearances twice on the weekend, a couple of times, but most, or at least both of those prior times, they've been short outings that he was following up.
Down and in, and it kicks off the catcher Reynolds. And back to the screen, and that will be a wild pitch, and Ryder Woodson moves into scoring position. Well, no chance for Reynolds on this pitch. Just pull through that slider. Parker singled to right field his last time up. He walked and scored in that 4-run second. State scored 4 in the second, took a 4-0 lead. Vanderbilt scored their 2 runs in the 4th. Pitch down and in. State added to the lead with a 1-out solo home run by Noah Sullivan in the 4th inning. And now the count 3-0 to Jacob Parker.
Now just pulling through it right now, going glove side with the fastballs. So a couple of fastballs back to back that pulls through them. And now there's 2 aboard with nobody out. And we have seen this situation with Maluski before here tonight. Bulldogs elected to bunt then. Will they do it here?
And that's what Vanderbilt is thinking. Turns around and tosses back to second to see if Maluski is showing something. He had a bunt single back in the 2nd inning and loaded the bases with nobody out. And then Maluski hit a ball hard, but right at Rigdon, who was shaded up the middle. The Vanderbilt second baseman started the 4-6-3 double play back in the 3rd. And squaring early and takes a fastball down. And that's the thing. What you're seeing from Luke Guth right now is the tough thing about pitching. It's not like basketball. It's not like football. You can't call timeout. You got to self-regulate in the moment.
In a very difficult situation.
Just can't find the release point. And he bunts it in the air, and coming in to make the play is Johnston, the 3rd baseman. And so Maluski pops up the bunt for the 1st out of the 5th, and that's a big out to get for Luke Guth.
Well, we'd seen Maluski in bunt situations in this ball game doing a good job of laying off pitches down. That time he got a pitch up and couldn't get on top of it, pops it up.
And here's Bryce Chance. He singled to center field his last time up. He's 1 for 2 today. First and second, now 1 out in the inning.
Second baseman Rigdon very near the bag at second base. Maldonado way off the bag at first.
Drops it in there, and the count 1-1. Bryce Chance at the moment, the 9-hole hitter, is leading Mississippi State in hitting at .429.
Hitting .450 with runners in scoring position.
Pops that ball up into shallow right field. Second baseman Rigdon back. He'll make the play, and now 2 outs in the inning. So after back-to-back walks to start the 5th inning, a popped-up bunt, now a pop-up on the infield, and now Luke Guth trying to work his way through this thing.
Now, Guth did not have his best stuff coming out of the bullpen, but he has gotten a couple of outs, and now out away from avoiding trouble. Bulldogs will turn it back to the top of the order with Aiden Teal.
Teal 1 for 2. Walked in the 1st inning, had an infield single, pulled a ball in the 4-hole back in that 2nd inning, drove in a run with the bases loaded. Dustin Rigdon made a nice diving play to keep it on the infield. Then he grounded to Rigdon, the second baseman, in the 3rd. and hits that ball in the air out into center field. Should be an easy play for Holcomb. He's there to squeeze it, and that'll do it for the Bulldog bottom of the fifth. So good job by Luke Guth to shut the door after the back-to-back walks. We play 5 in Starkville. The State has a 5-2 lead.
Tomas Valinkas back to the mound as we start the 6th. He has been outstanding. He's worked the fastball on the edge. He's working the breaking pitches inside against right-handers. And he has struck out 9, walked just 1, surrendered only a couple of hits. He heads back out with a lead here in the top of the 6th.
Well, 5-2 State lead. Neto went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits. Rusty Rigdon, 1 for 2 with an RBI single. Valinkas, you talk about the 9 strikeouts and 1 walk. Noah Sullivan, a solo home run, and Ace Reese, a big 2-run double. And now we go to the top of the 6th inning. And Braden Holcomb going to lead things off. Valinkas struck out a pair back in the 5th inning. Holcomb, Barzy, Maldonado.
Now Holcomb has struck out a couple of times here tonight, and they've looked a lot like this. Valinkas has worked the breaking pitches, and Holcomb's just had trouble seeing them.
And the 0-2, grounded foul. Well, you got a couple different things you can think about here. If you're Valinkas, you feel like Holcomb hasn't really fully seen the pitches out of your hand as far as a slider. But Holcomb, can he catch up to it and time it up now that he's seen it so much?
That's why you wonder here if you don't maybe elevate with a fastball and set yourself up to come back with a breaking pitch if it misses.
Well, it came down and in, and he catches the knees. A strike 3 is called. Holcomb thought it was a little bit low, but Scott Kennedy, the home plate umpire, pulls the trigger, and that's 10 strikeouts for Tomas Valinkas.
It's also a nice job of catching by Kevin Maluski. You see this ball at the bottom of the zone, does a nice job receiving the pitch and helping his pitcher earn a strike call on a 50-50 ball.
And here's Barzy, who fouls that one off the leg of the Bulldog catcher, Kevin Maluski. Barzy singled to right field his last time up. So you want to be a catcher.
You saw the home plate umpire, Scott Kennedy, decided he would walk a pitch, walk a ball back out to the mound, maybe clean the plate a minute. Just trying to give the Bulldog catcher Maluski a minute to gather himself.
Breathe through the nose very slowly. Push that breath out through the mouth and repeat about 5 times. 0-1. Backdoor that.
And that's one of the things Valinkas has done so well today. He has been able to backdoor that pitch to right-handed hitters. It looks like it's going to stay away, and then gets it to cross.
0-2. Got the slider down and in, and that's strikeout number 11.
All right, talk about using all sides of the plate with the breaking pitch. He was backdooring it, and then what's he do here? Runs it inside. My goodness.
Sometimes you just have that secondary pitch working. He's got it working right now. Here's Chris Maldonado. He walked back in the 4th inning. Had a fly out to left field in the 2nd. 5 strikeouts in a row for Tomas Valinkas.
My goodness.
He's got 12 on the night in 6 innings of work. And the lefty rolling here in Starkville tonight. Yeah, Duty Noble Field here in Starkville. We start thinking about the crown jewel of college baseball. It's overflow crowds. And Charlie, one of the things when you talk about this stadium, it opened in 2019, it just feels different at night.
It certainly has a feel tonight.
Here's Ace Reese. And talking to people last night here at the ballpark, it had that postseason feel in week 2 of SEC play. Ace Reese at the plate. 1 for 3. Struck out a couple of times. Had a big 2-run double back in that 2nd inning.
And a ball he just hammered down into the right field corner.
Elevated. Foul back. Luke Guth now in his 2nd inning of work. He came in and walked the first guy he saw back in the 5th, Jacob Parker. He was struggling with control. He got a popped up bunt. That kind of changed everything. Settled him down a little bit. He got Bryce Chance to pop out to the second baseman, then to Aiden Teal to fly out to center field to end the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, that was a great 0-2 pitch. A great take by Ace Reese.
1-2, went down to get it. He golfs it out to shallow left field. The shortstop Waite back, and Riker Waite will make the play.
Tougher play than it looks for Waite right there. He had to go a ways to get that one on a ball that was hit up into the air. Gets above the lights, and sometimes you can lose sight of it here.
Well, we did lose sight of the deep fly ball by Noah Sullivan his last time up. Just popped the ball up down the left field line, and it ended up getting out of the ballpark for his 6th home run of the season. That expanded State's lead from 4-2 to 5-2, and that's where it's been since. Mississippi State won last night 4-2 to win game 1 of this series. You look back to last week, Vanderbilt able to take 2 out of 3 at home against LSU. Had some close games up in Nashville.
All right, so let me ask you this. Tomas Valinkas sitting at 90 pitches. Will he go back out to start the top of the 7th? I would think so.
He struck out 5 in a row. Kind of hitting his stride right now here in the middle innings.
Ooh.
Breaking ball strike called at the bottom of the zone, though Sullivan didn't think so.
And he will find some backing for that proposition here within the home stands.
Double in the 1st, the home run in the 4th. And rips that ball. Nice backhand play by Johnston. He'll toss it over. Nice job by Brody Johnston. We start thinking about this game. Tomas Valinkas, the left-hander from Mississippi State, pitched at the Baylor School in Chattanooga. And Johnston from Ooltewah, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga. Both those guys played in the private schools up Chattanooga area. Johnston makes that play. Chattanooga strong, 5-3 on the putout. 2 quick outs in the 6th inning, and here's Reed Stallman.
And you saw the shot of Valinkas throwing the ball up against the wall, so that answers the question from earlier.
Stallman drove in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning. Yeah, he's not putting eyes on it.
No.
So
now, one thing we have seen about Valinkas is he is willing to share his displeasure on being removed from games. Some guys you can look down there, how you feeling? Man, I think I gave you all I got. That isn't him.
Chop foul, and the count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Take to the mound. Go to the mound visit, you think you need to take security. Of course, Bulldogs, given the pitching they had to use a night ago, would love to get some more depth from him tonight.
Used 4 guys last night.
Of course, the other thing about it, and I think this gets lost when people look simply at straight pitch counts, one of the big issues, though, is what kind of pitches were you having to throw? How many pitches under stress were you having to throw?
3-2. Breaking ball grounded right into the shift. And the toss over. And that will end the inning. So we've played 6 here in Starkville. Mississippi State with a 5-2 lead. Well, we talked about Tomas Valinkas last week. He's the SEC co-pitcher of the week. He went 7 innings last week, no runs on 2 hits. Tonight, he struck out a career-high 12. He's gone 6 innings. He's given up 2 runs. Neither were earned. Back in that 4th inning. He's walked just 1, just 2 hits tonight for Vanderbilt. And he will face Mike Mancini to lead things off in the 7th inning. Mancini, Rigdon, Reynolds, 6, 7, and 8 for the Commodores.
We see Valinkas still throwing with velocity here in the 7th. 94 on the fastball.
And backs it up with another. Mancini was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. He drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to left field in the 4th. So without an official at bat so far tonight, he has an RBI. And able to just foul a piece off at 94. Got another fastball.
14,834 on hand tonight. That is the 5th largest on-campus attendance in the history of college baseball.
Pile of folks here, man. Swing and a miss, and there's strikeout number 13.
A pile of folks, and they are watching that guy just straight dealing.
13 strikeouts. He struck out 6 batters in a row, and it's from the top of the order all the way to the 6th spot. The leadoff man, Johnstone, and then Johnston to end the 5th. The 3, 4, 5 hitters in the 6th inning, Holcomb, Barzy, and Maldonado. And now Mancini to start the 7th. And here's Rustin Rigdon, who had an RBI single to center field his last time up. He's the last guy to reach base for Vanderbilt.
Well, the past couple of innings, we've seen Valinkas go breaking ball heavy, relying on the fastball early in the count here in the 7th.
And now 2-1. Talked about Valinkas going 7 innings last week against Arkansas, whose season long a year ago was 6 2/3 against Virginia Tech late in the season in mid-May. Two one. He misses arm side, and now the count 3 balls and a strike to Rustin Rigdon. And now the count 3-2. Rigdon, the sophomore from Metter, Georgia. Played over at Metter High School. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Boy, it's been a special night for the left-hander, Tomas Valinkas. That's 7 strikeouts in a row.
And a lot of them have come just like that.
Threw him a slider on 3-2. And that's 14 strikeouts for Valinkas. And here's Corbin Reynolds.
You see Valinkas really wanting to pitch with some pace. He's amped up right now.
And right now he's a three-point shooter that can't miss. Chop, back to it. He'll underhand toss, and that will end the inning. Tomas Valinkas, a special outing tonight with stretch time here in Starkville and 5-2 state leading. Well, a 5-2 Mississippi State lead, middle of the 7th inning. Stretch time here at the ballpark. Mississippi State with a 5-2 lead. Coming into tonight, Mississippi State held 24 of the top 25 D1 baseball attendance records. Who's the other school that was the one out of the 25?
All right, that seems doable, doesn't it? You start to think about ballparks, number of fans they can hold.
And ripped in the air by Garrick Fry, and back and making the play is Johnstone.
Ooh.
Racing away from the plate. Garrick Fry hits it hard. The fly out to right field. The first out of the 7th inning.
It's got to be LSU, doesn't it?
Talking about on campus.
Texas has had some big crowds, but LSU with the box down there, they put in some crowds, 10, 11.
Start talking about on-campus crowds. Ryder Woodson at the plate.
You pretty quickly rule some out. We're just got to think about Arkansas, big crowd there, but
they've had some big crowds at Baum Stadium up in Fayetteville.
start to think about postseason play.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
With all apologies to our good friends in Delaware, we know the Blue Hens don't have it.
They do not. Okay, so one down.
3-0 in there for a strike.
I think I'm going to go with LSU here.
I think I'm going to go with Arkansas. Chop down the line. That's a fair ball. Johnston gave it a dive for it. It caroms off the wall, and on his way to second base with a double is Ryder Woodson.
Boy, Woodson hits this ball really hard. He gets a pitch in the middle, gets out in front, and just right down the line, barely inside the bag.
And a one-out double by Ryder Woodson. And here's Jacob Parker. So coming into the night, State had 24 of the top 25 crowds. Fake to throw back to second. You can do that one time.
Yeah, after this, it's got to make the throw.
So you say LSU, I say Arkansas.
Both plausible. Ooh.
Well, Scott Kennedy thought about it and was like, yeah, you know.
He was, I'll say this, I wouldn't take that pitch again.
And now 2-1.
Of course, now, after tonight, Mississippi State holds all of them.
Foul tip. And now the count 2-2.
Think about that. All 25 of the top 25 now right here.
Two. I mean, just think about how many people that you've read about, you've talked to around the college sports world who have made this place a bucket list destination for college sports. 3-2. Rip foul. Talk to some guys from Ohio or Indiana or Oregon. Like a guy's trip down to Starkville to watch baseball. But most in attendance bleeding the maroon and white. Here's a 3-2. Outside, and that is ball 4. So first and second with one out. As Jacob Parker draws a walk, Kevin Maluski will be the batter. So coming into the night, 24-25. Mississippi State held 24-25. What's the other school? Arkansas. I told you, Charlie.
Yeah, you did.
Man, I hate being right. Dadgummit, especially against you. And you know, if LSU had won it,
well, after you botched the home run call, I just had to give you one.
I know that you would not give me a hard time if you were right, but I was right. I said Arkansas against Southern Cal back in 2018.
Well, it's a pretty good place to be for second best stadium in the conference.
Kevin Maluski at the plate had a bunt single back in the second inning. He had a popped up bunt his last time up in a similar situation. First and second with one out here in the bottom of the seventh. And he got under that one down the left field line, mile high. Mancini over, and he'll make the catch. And that's out number 2. So now 2 outs in the inning. And you look at the crowd tonight, 14,834, the 5th highest ever on campus baseball history. Now all top 25. The top 25 crowds, the records, all 25 are here. Top 25 largest crowds on campus in college baseball history. Here's Bryce Chance. Chops it, and that's a fair ball down the left field line. Bryce Chance just continues to hit. That ball's going to hug the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes the second. And crossing the plate is Jacob Parker. It's a 2-run double by Bryce Chance. And Mississippi State takes a 7-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, what a big hit for Mississippi State right there. Bryce Chance just gets a pitch, pulls it right down that third base line. Got one on the inside part of the plate. And as you said, Bart, it gets into that. You never know how it's going to play off that wall. It just hugs it. A 2-out,
2-run double by Bryce Chance, and here's Aiden Teal in the top of the Bulldog order. So a couple doubles in the inning, one by Woodson, the other by Chance. You had a walk to Jacob Parker in there. And a 7-2 Mississippi State lead here in the bottom of the 7th. And the crowd is alive here at Dudy Noble. Ground ball right at the first baseman. Maldonado will step on the bag. Teal hits it hard but out, and that will end the 7th. But Mississippi State expands the lead to 7-2 on the 2-run double by Bryce Chance. Well, what a night for Tomas Valinkas. Well, the left-hander, Charlie, he had that slider working.
Yes, he did. And he worked it out. He worked it in. Ran it into hitters. Ran it away from them. Fielded his position well, and he had a night to remember.
7 innings of work, 14 strikeouts, a new career high. Ties a career high with 7 innings. Set that last week. Gave up 2 runs, both unearned runs. Just 1 walk, 2 hits, and the left-hander will give way to the big, tall right-hander, Brendan Sweeney, senior from Edmond, Oklahoma. So Sweeney on to try to get the final 6 outs. State now with a 7-2 lead over Vandy. It'll be 9-1-2 due up for the Commodores. Charlie, Sweeney, complete opposite effect of Valinkas.
Well, and you say, why Sweeney here? One of the reasons, he tends to throw strikes. 12 strikeouts against 3 walks on the season in 11 innings pitched. And when you've got a lead, you want to see a pitcher fill the zone. And fastball and a changeup have both found the strike zone so far.
0-2. Well, ran it down and away, and Wade strikes out. And the leadoff man retired to start the 8th inning.
Boy, this is a wicked change right here. Ooh.
Fell off the table. You start thinking about the outing for Valinkas. And when you got to the ballpark today, about how much of a hitter's park you thought it was going to be, and still could be, with the wind blowing straight out, 8 miles an hour, a hot afternoon, temperatures in the high 80s.
It had a recipe for balls to be flying.
But he was able to pitch down in the zone and get swing and miss on the slider, got the fastball. One. Down the left field line, slicing and foul. And doing it against a Vanderbilt offense that has been so good this year. A lot of pop in that power in the order. 1-2. And strike 3 called on the inside corner. Ran the fastball back at 94. Now back-to-back strikeouts for Sweeney.
Well, you talk about having a different look. Look at this pitch from Sweeney. It's got arm side run. It looks like it's going to come inside, and then doesn't do it. And that's one, if you're Johnstone, you're thinking that ball's going to be off the plate, and then it just has that arm side run.
And here's Brody Johnston. A couple of strikeouts tonight. He reached on a fielding error back in the 4th inning and later scored in that 2-run 4th inning. Hard hit ball. Ace Reese moving to his left. He'll flip it across. And a quick 1-2-3 top of the 8th inning for Brendan Sweeney. Gets a couple of strikeouts and a ground out, and Mississippi State leads by 5, middle of the 8th.
The real fun is just getting started.
This is why I love this sport so much.
Right where we should be this time of year.
The celebration is on.
College baseball is back indeed. We're on an overflow night at Starkville. Just under 15,000. Mississippi State, who won last night 4-2, has a 7-2 lead here in game 2 of this series. 2-3-4 due up for State here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ace Reese, then Noah Sullivan and Reed Stallman. First pitch swinging, that's just foul. And the first base line. I don't know if Brian O'Connor is going to look at that guy and say, you know what, that guy says to review it.
Now that you mention it.
Pop foul. On the left side. He was trying to sell it. Let's see that ground ball by Reese. It's close.
See, if he'd gone to the headphone sign, he might have had a chance.
But you know, here's the thing. Here's what he did. Is he was emphatic.
He was decisive.
He was very decisive. And it's just like walking through a gate when you're wearing a sport coat. You just walk on in and just do it decisively. I'm not advocating.
I was just trying to picture you wearing a sport coat.
If I can find one in the closet that'll button, 2-2. Three and 2 the count. Ace Reese 1 for 4 night. Popped out the shortstop his last time up. He had a big 2-run double in the 4-run second. Fouls the pitch off. Chop to the right side. Second baseman Rigdon had him played perfectly, and that's the first out of the 8th inning.
So, Bart, our friend Robbie Falk makes a good point.
Okay.
There have been 3 innings tonight that Mississippi State has scored. In the next half inning, Bulldog pitching has retired all 9 hitters. They have retired the side in order every half inning after scoring a run.
Well, you start thinking about teams that are able to answer stuff. And tonight, Vanderbilt has been unable to answer Mississippi State. Here's Noah Sullivan. 2 for 3 tonight.
Oh, that one started and stayed high.
State has 7 runs on 9 hits. Vanderbilt 2 runs on just 2 hits tonight. Both the hits came back in the 4th inning. I'll try to check the swing. Did he go around? No, says the first base umpire, Ronnie Teague. And now the count's full. Well, Vanderbilt will have the meat of the order up in the top of the 9th inning. Holcomb, Barzee, Maldonado, barring pinch hitters. 3-2. Down the left field line again. Once again, a mile high. This one is out of the ballpark and foul. Very similar trajectory that we saw Sullivan hit that home run back in the 4th inning when he just hit a high fly ball, a mile high that just got out of here. And you look back to that 4th inning, you see he got under it. And somehow it leaves the ballpark. Count 3-2. Chop and foul. And we'll do it again. So Noah Sullivan, who was running hard down to first, he'll take his time and he'll walk back again. Guth came in and shut the door in the 5th inning, pitched well in the 6th. Gave up a 1-out double to Ryder Woodson in the 7th inning, then a walk to Parker, then a 2-run double to Bryce Chance. And came in when the game was 4-2. Excuse me, 5-2. He's given up the 2 runs, but he's pitched well. And Charlie, the thing that he has become in this game here in the final innings is an inning eater. Trying to save the Vanderbilt bullpen for game 3 of the series, and this time he walks Noah Sullivan, who fouls off some 3-2 pitches, then takes the walk.
And that becomes a very underrated talking point at times when you start to look at these SEC weekends. It's not just about winning a game, it's keeping your pitching in line. And for State tonight, the fact that Tomas Valinkas went out, 8 up, 7 innings, that is a much needed performance for them. But Guth coming in here, Vanderbilt's pitching will be very much in line for tomorrow.
Here's Reed Stallman with a runner at first and 1 down here in the bottom of the 8th. For 3 night. He drove in a run with a sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning. Hits that ball well into right field, but right at Johnstone, who's there to track it down. Scurrying back over to first is Noah Sullivan. Well, Stallman hit that one right on the screws, but out to right field. Johnstone got a good jump on it. And now 2 outs for Garrick Fry.
Fry reached base in the 2nd inning on a walk, flew out to left, lined out to right, struck out his other plate appearances.
Hits that ball well into right field. Back and making the catch a couple of steps away from the wall is John Stone. Bulldogs hit back-to-back balls hard, but that'll do it for the 8th. Well, we go to the 9th. Vanderbilt down to its final 3 outs. 7-2 Mississippi State lead. Big one on Tuesday night. Well, the guy that ramped it up to the expectations tonight was Tomas Valinkas. 14 strikeouts and 7 innings of work. Wyatt Neto went the first 4 for Vandy. Solo home run for Noah Sullivan. Bryce Chance 2 for 4. Big 2-run double. State's out hit Vandy 9-2 tonight. Lead at 7-2 as we go to the 9th inning. Here's Braden Holcomb against Brendan Sweeney. Sweeney retired the side in order in the 8th inning, back out for his 2nd inning of work. He had a couple of strikeouts and got a ground out to get out of the 8th. Braden Holcomb has a hat trick tonight, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Here's a 2-0. He fouled it back. Tomas Valinkas, 14 strikeouts in 7 innings of work. 2 unearned runs on 2 hits. 14 strikeouts, 1 walk. He hit 1 batter. He threw 103 pitches, 71 strikes. Two-1. Foul back again. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Holcomb strikes out for the 4th time tonight. That's a golden sombrero. And the leadoff man erased to start the 9th inning. And Sweeney able to battle back after falling behind. Comes back to get the strikeout, and out number 1 of the 9th.
Well, Bulldog pitching 17 strikeouts tonight.
Here's Colin Barzy. He had a single to right field back in the 4th inning. He's got a couple of strikeouts, and he rips that ball down the left field line. First pitch swinging, he went hunting fastball, and he found it. And he peels one to the left field corner, and that is the first hit for Vanderbilt since the top of the 4th. And that is the first base runner for the Commodores since the top of the 4th. State pitching had retired 14 in a row before this double. And so now Chris Maldonado will come to the plate. And we're going to have a pinch hitter. I think it's Tommy Gooden. And it is Tommy Gooden. And now a pinch runner for Vandy, as Barzy will come out. Cade Sears will come in. So Sears will pinch run for Barzy. And Tommy Gooden to the plate. Batting .289, Gooden is. 13 hits and 45 at bats. He's got 6 home runs. 16 RBIs. Chops that ball. First baseman fields it. Reed Stallman will race to the bag. Sears moves over to third, but now Mississippi State 1 out away from claiming the series and winning the first 2 this weekend. Game 3 tomorrow at 1 o'clock on getaway day here on this second weekend. Sweeney trying to close it out, and Mike Mancini will come to the plate.
Now, since coming in, Sweeney has thrown a lot of strikes. 16 pitches, 12 of them in the zone.
State won last night 4-2. Put up a 4 spot in the second inning today, took the early lead. Had 14-6 last night, 14-8 tonight. And now the count 2-1. Way inside, and now the count 3-1. Mancini drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the fourth. 3-1. Then off the plate, and that's ball 4. And now first and third with 2 outs in the ninth.
Well, that'll get a walk out from behind the plate from Maluski.
Kevin Maluski's caught the first 2 games this weekend. And you know that Brian O'Connor, pitching coach Justin Parker, want to close this one out with Sweeney right here and use just 2 tonight. After having to use 4 pitchers last night, there's Justin Parker. And Rustin Rigdon will be the batter. Had an RBI single to center field in the 4th inning. The runner takes off for second.
Shouldn't be a stolen base there. That should be defensive indifference, but now the runner almost went back to first. The first base coach having to point at him to go back to the bag.
Mancini started walking back to first like he thought it was a foul ball. It was a foul ball, but it was held by the catcher, Maluski. This time roll to the right side. Second baseman up with it. Garrett Fry will toss it, and that will do it. And Mississippi State has taken the first 2 from Vanderbilt this weekend in Starkville, and what a night tonight for Bulldog pitching. Tomas Valinkas with 14 strikeouts in 7 innings. State took the early lead, and Charlie, a big win for the Dogs.
Yeah, Dogs clinch a series against a good Vanderbilt team. They got some timely hitting. They got a big hit from Ace Reese, got a couple of knocks from Noah Sullivan, but the story of the night, the job on the mound that Tomas Valinkas did, helps get the pitching back in line for the Dogs for tomorrow.
So for Charlie Winfield, I'm Bart Gregory saying so long from Dudy Noble Field in Starkville. Mississippi State wins it 7-2. Watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks. Log on to watchespn.com or download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.